Hey. Hey, it's Michael. Welcome to day 14. And it's called Be Yourself. Um, to me, this is one of the hardest things. And I remember actually, I think it was around day 12, I was talking to a couple of friends and a couple of family members. And I remember thinking about this project thus far and what it's meant for me and to me. And along the way, because I'm doing these and I'm talking to you, and I'm also talking to myself, because a lot of things that I'm saying out loud, I never really had that conversation with myself. So in a way, I'm advising myself, I'm talking to myself, I'm giving myself advice, and I'm telling myself I'm worthy, and I'm telling myself all these good things that I needed to hear, but I need to hear from me. So this has been an amazing journey so far. Um, yeah, so let's get into being ourselves. So pretty much the thing of it is, going back to the concept of shadow self, a lot of people, especially people who are depressed, going back to living in fear, have this fear that they as they are not good enough, and they only want to put their best foot forward and their best them forward. And that's fine. Everybody has their good points, everybody has their bad points, but the problem is with people with depression in particular is that they are afraid to let the bad points show, and they resent themselves for their bad points, and they get mired in the bad. For instance, myself, going back to I having this fear of not being good enough for me, having this fear of being abandoned for me, so I find myself being very agreeable to a lot of things. I find myself not wanting to rock the boat. So pretty much I go along to get along. I don't like conflict. I don't like problems because I don't want to upset people. I don't want to hurt people's feelings. And people have this misconception about me that I'm an asshole. And I do have asshole qualities. But I don't like hurting people's feelings. I don't like seeing people hurt. I like seeing people angry, especially if they're angry at me. And so part of learning this and learning myself is like, you know what, Michael, you are going to hurt people's feelings. You're going to make people angry. People are going to be angry. That's fine. It doesn't detract from who you are. Like I thought that if I was mean in one instance, I'm just a mean person. If I was a jackass in one instance, I'm a jackass across the board. And I have to give a shout out to my mom on this. So shout out to you, mom. Hey, girl. Um, I remember us having a talk when I went home to visit about 3 years ago. I don't know if she remembers this or not. And she told me that she felt like I didn't think I was worthy of being loved. And I remember being in her car. I remember crying to my mom, which again, that very seldom happens. And I didn't feel like I was worthy of being loved because I felt I had all these things going against me because honestly, in many respects, I wasn't being myself. I wasn't letting it all hang out. I was trying to, put this image out there that I was funny and that I was cool and I had all these positive, great things in my head and I was amazing. And don't get me wrong, I have all those things, but I still have my jackass moments. I still have my moments of self-doubt. I still have my moments of insecurity and me trying to pretend that I don't have those in order to project this image that I'm perfect. That way people accept me and like me is putting a false narrative out there because they're not liking me, they're liking my representative. You know what I mean? And so in many respects, because I felt like I was faking the funk, I felt like I was not lovable because I was not who I thought I could be or should be. And some of the negatives would come back, or I hate saying that, but the negative traits or the traits that aren't as socially acceptable, socially likable based on conditioning. I felt that who's going to like me? Who's going to want to be my friend? Who's going to love me? Who's going to want to date me? You know? I didn't feel worthy. And which led me to another talk with my sister Sabrina because I remember this was Thanksgiving 2015 because this message that she sent me on WhatsApp actually became my screensaver, and in it she told me that I was an honor to be her to be my sister, and that I had an amazing heart. And I have always told people, like people would tell you this all the time. My mom would tell me, this all the time. You give, you have an amazing heart. You give a lot. You're very, sweet. And I just saw myself as an asshole. And I just found myself trying so hard to be nice to offset that asshole trait because I felt that, me being short tempered, I said some reckless off the wall savage things, made me not good enough, made me not likable. And I find like a lot of people have this issue. Like, somebody else I know has this thing where, she tries to do things to better her situation by bettering it for other people, but she's not helping herself. And therefore she resents it, and then she has this martyr's complex. And it becomes difficult for her to have relationships with people because she's not being authentic. She's not being honest. And it's hard. It's a hard thing to really put yourself out there and say, this is who I am, right or wrong, good or bad, black or white. This is me. Like for me, I'm getting to that point now, and these videos have helped, where I can say, you know what, I'm Michael. I have my good moments, I have my bad moments. I have depression, I have bipolar, I may be an I may have a little bit of a drinking problem, you know what I mean? But I'm still worthy of being loved. I'm still me. All of these things are me. Just because I will cuss you out one minute does not mean I'm not capable of giving you a hug and saying I love you the next. Just because I doubt myself in one moment does not mean I don't have confidence in my abilities to do this or this, that, or third, the next. You know, everybody has give and take, push and pull, some kind of juxtaposition, some kind of combinations or discrepancies or anything in their personality, but it doesn't mean that they need to hide one in order to favor the other. I'm all those things, like those affirmations I put on that board over there. I can be all of those things. But I can also be the opposite of all those things. But I'm choosing to just be. I'm choosing to just be me. I'm not good, I'm not bad, I'm just me. I'm not happy, I'm not sad, I'm just me. Like I was telling my brother-in-law, like generally speaking, when I'm calm and I'm in my good space, I don't take away from anything. I don't really add to anything. I'm just there. And when I'm by myself and I'm feeling calm and I'm feeling happy, I just am there. When people ask me, hey, how are you? I'm saying, I'm okay. People are like, oh, why aren't you good? Was there a problem? No. When I say I'm okay, I'm okay. And being okay to me is a great feeling, which means nothing is bothering me. I'm in my zone. I am okay. I am fine with just being. And, you know, going through life, especially as an adult, I tried to hide who I was, and I tried to hide all these things, put walls up, because I was afraid that if I let people in, they weren't going to like me. If I let people in, they were going to hurt me, which is why saying I love you was such a hard thing for me. Like, even telling family members, it's like if I tell you I love you, then it's like I'm opening myself up to weakness. And I found myself, since I'm a very emotional person, I found that being emotional made me weak, so I tried to hide that as well. I found that being sensitive made me weak, so I tried to hide that as well. I found that being afraid of a lot of things, you know, like unsolved mysteries, sorry, don't judge me, made me weak, so I tried to hide it. I tried to hide the fact that, you know, things bother me. I tried to hide the fact that I have insecurities. I tried to hide the fact that sometimes I say and do dumb shit, and I try to hide the fact that I'm not perfect. And, you know, like, you get the portrait, but you don't get what's behind the portrait. You see, you know, like the saying is, you know, why occupy the throne when the back seat has more room? So basically, you're getting the throne, but the back seat where everybody's sitting, you don't get to see that. You don't get to see all these other little things. And I feel like a lot of people in this space, they do that a lot. They don't let people in because they're afraid of getting hurt. But you know what? When you're cool with yourself, when you're in tune with your star player, when you're like, you know what? I am this, hear me roar, do what you gotta do. Like, another thing, you know, being gay. That was hard for me to come to grips with. And I remember, you know, I didn't want people to, you know, to pick up on that, because I figured, okay, well, you know, I don't want to be perceived as different or less than. So for a lot of things, you know, I try to butch it up a little bit. But yes, you know, I have my moments where I'm like, girl, go, hey, girl, yes, bitch, yes, work, all stuff, whatever. And that's part of who I am. It doesn't detract from me being. It doesn't detract from, you know, my greatness or my lack of greatness. It is me. I'm me. You know, like, I have my moments where I'm like this. I have moments where I want to beat your ass. I have my moments where, you know, I want to hug you. I have moments where I want to be by myself. I have moments. All these moments make me me, and that's what makes us unique. Truly makes us unique is how we are when we are just able to be and accept the fact that we are an all-encompassing thing. We're not just positive, we're not just negative, we're not just this, we're not just that, we're not just black, we're not just white. There's a lot of gray. And I remember Sabrina she's telling me all the time, there's gray areas, and you're saying everything is black and white, black and white, black and white. Well, guess what, Sabrina? 10 years later, I'm 27 years old now, I get it. I see you. I rock with you, girl. I rock with you. I get it. So, you know, and, you know, it's hard to sit there, you know, and be yourself. Like, honestly, being this vulnerable with somebody, with people in general, I don't do that. Honestly, to me, it's easier for me to do this on camera, because, like, I'm not really saying this directly to somebody. But actually, I had this conversation with my roommate, who's also one of my really good friends now, about these things, whatever. And it's like, yeah, you know, you can sit there, and I feel more comfortable letting my feelings out now, I've because again, it's not a weakness. I have feelings. So, some things I probably should get a better grip on, but that's just who I am. You know what I mean? And why should I have to change who I am to appease somebody else? Because if I'm changing who I am to make you happy, then how do I make myself happy? If you're changing who you are to make somebody else happy, how are you making you happy? If you're not being authentic in yourself, you're not standing in your truth, how are you living? How are you being authentic? You're not. You're somebody else's truth. You're somebody else's idea of what you should be, but you're not living up to your full self. We're not living up to our full selves. And it's time we take that power for ourselves, okay? Because honestly, the depression, that's another key thing. We're not being ourselves. We're not saying, you know what, I'm okay with not being okay right now. I'm feeling this, I'm feeling that, I'm afraid to tell you how I feel. Fuck it. You, theoretically speaking, there might be afterlives, might be reincarnation, rebirth, whatever. Theoretically speaking, you have one present life to live. So live it, and live it for you, and live it being ever, like the song Into the Rush by Ellie and AJ. Don't let nobody tell you your life is over. Be every color that you are. And I know it sounds hokey, but that song's been in my head for the past 12, 13 years now, that line in particular, because I love it so much, because it's the truth. Be every color that you are. Some people are going to like you, some people are not going to like you, whatever, but the people that do like you, they're liking you for you, and they're respecting you for you. Okay? So don't let anybody tell you your life is over. Be every color that you are. Into the Rush now. We don't have to know how. It'll be over till you try. Hopefully I don't have to get caught up on lyrics for that one. But seriously, be you and be great. You're totally fine. You're okay. And we keep telling you guys that you're okay. So on that note, have a great day. Figure out what being is to you. Figure out what you are to you, and figure out, what you bring to the table to yourself. But remember, be yourself is all that you can go. God, I miss Chris Cornell, Audio Slave. But yes, I'm leave you on that note, and have a great day. Bye.